Mindfulness, for me at least, it's a way of training your mind. It's a way of being, a way of doing, which I think is really key when we think about the workplace. And for me, the compassion piece is really, really important, because what I see happening a lot is that you've got sort of quite toxic workplaces and people are really stressed and burnt out. And you know, I had a call from one organisation where they'd had a couple of suicides and they wanted someone to come in and roll out a mindfulness programme. Fine, that's great, but unless it's really thought through and it's got compassion in it, sometimes it's just like a sticking plaster for a really huge wound.
We live in times that are, unheard of. The amount of uncertainty we have is unheard of before. Being comfortable with not knowing and being able to handle not knowing and the pressures around it, and to collaborate in this environment in a different way, it's important.
It helps you be more joyful. It actually does. You know, I think that we forget, we're so, like you say, on autopilot so much of the time. We're just not living. You know, and we're at work. We're just not. We're not present. We're not really truly alive. So I think it just makes a huge difference. And an example of mindfulness being rolled out quite powerfully is one that shocks a lot of people because it's the US Army, you know, and there's a lot of work being done in the UK as well, you know, so I think that's quite a surprising example. But actually, you know, if you think about people in the forces, you know, if they're not conscious, if they're not, you know, they can easily make completely the wrong decision. So it actually sort of helps them be more, you know, not so stressed, and actually it can be a matter of life or death.
One of the most shocking effects of this stuff is that people actually listen. So when you get people to just empty their minds, if you like, and just listen, amazing things happen. There is a definition of an Argentinian psychologist called Jorge Bucay that I love and I use all the time. And he says that happiness is not a destination, is not a way to walk towards that destination, but it's the serenity, he uses that word, the serenity, and I guess the confidence of knowing that whatever happens, you are in the path you've chosen.
And for me it's almost like so you can be joyful in the moment, but happiness is a more general kind of underlying thing. So I could be sad about something that's particularly happened, but I'm still happy, if that makes sense. So I've got my practice, I've got my mindfulness, my compassion, I know to try and turn towards things that are difficult, I know to try and be present in the moment. So I'm happy even if something goes wrong in the moment. Unless you have a formal practice, by which I mean sitting on a cushion, lying on a bed, whatever it is, just for a certain amount of time, preferably each day. You know, I think unless you have that, it doesn't really get embedded. However, I think increasingly that it seems to be that the research is saying that as little as 10 minutes can actually have a huge impact. Don't get all caught up in, you know, how we're doing it, being in the perfect position, all that kind of stuff. Just taking time out. I think it's huge impact so quickly. And also, I think, as I probably would say, is not to forget the compassion, because I think if we get really mindful, unless we have that self-compassion first, it's just not going to stick. We need to take care of ourselves.